guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, the lovely lady has returned. Lovely Labrynth of the Silver Castle, aka Labrynth. How well does it currently do in the meta due to, the introduction of Tear and Ishizu Tear? How well does it still play? How are we supposed to play this deck? Well, it has changed. Okay, it hasn't really changed all that much. A lot of players have already been playing Floodgate versions of the deck, but I decided, hey, can we still compete with Ishizu Tear and stuff like that? This is the deck list that I ended up on, mostly due to a lot of the things that I ended up seeing, which was Flu. I ended up seeing a lot of Flunder, and so we ended up playing things that specifically were able to deal with that, as well as things like Tear and the like, which just ended up being more Floodgates. Fun. So yeah, let's quickly do the card by card and the explanation. So starting off, we are cutting the other one, I forget its name, Ariane, and we're just playing Ariana of the Labyrinth Servant, and we're playing 3 of that. We're also playing 2 Lovely Lady, just because it happens to be very good and very powerful. And then of course we're playing the 1 Lovely Labyrinth. It's a nice card. It's a way to destroy cards. It's okay, but honestly, you kind of want to search it most of the time. And then the triple Welcome Labrynth, and that's it for the lab cards. As for the rest of the monsters, we're playing 2-dimensional Shifter to just kind of auto win sometimes. We're playing the double Pank. Pank is just an absolute powerhouse. Going second, you're able to special summon him and just like deal with an entire board basically by himself, as well as, he's good against basically every matchup. There isn't really a matchup where it's not good, right? Being able to walk over like a Tear monster or something like that, force out a redoer or a dweller or something like that, and then also be able to pop a back row is also very nice. So all in all, Pank is just absolutely crazy. So yeah, we're playing 2 of him as well. And then we're playing triple Lord. Lord's also just really good. As for the rest of the cards, we're playing a lot of, pot of duality, pot of extravagance. We're maxing out on those. And then we're also, for the last spell, we're playing Dimensional Fissure. Just 2 of them. It comes up, I don't want it all the time, because against, Flu, again, it's not too great. And we also do want our cards to go to the graveyard, specifically monsters as well as spells. So Dimensional Fissure is kind of good. It's kind of one of those things where it's well, sometimes you just hope that you win because of this card. As for the rest of the cards, double Compulse, 1 Epidemic Virus. I think this card is just absolutely insane and totally worth playing because you can get it off of Lord, which then will trigger it, and then we are able to just kind of win the game from there. We're playing triple Evenly Matched because we need more going second options. Just 2 Pank and the 2-dimensional Shifter isn't enough, so we're also playing the Evenly Matched. We're playing 2 Dogmatic of Punishment. This is also one of the reasons why we're only playing the 2 Fissures, because we also still want access to Punishment. And if you go for Punishment, you can't go for Fissure. Or if you go for Fissure, you can't go for Punishment. So there's that. That's why we're playing it the way that we are. And then we have the triple Welcome, which I already mentioned. We're playing 2 Solemn Judgment. This is honestly a absolutely insane include. It's so very nice. It deals with Evenly. It deals with Harpy's Feather Duster. It deals with normal summons of just about anything, right? Any normal summon. Anything that would just be an Xyz summon, for example, a Synchro summon. Lots of cool things that it just deals with super efficiently. Yeah, Solemn Judgment is absolutely insane. And then a bunch of Floodgates. Yay, Floodgates. We're playing the 1 Skill Drain, the 1 Goes in Match because that's all that we can. And then 2 Summon Limit. This specifically happens to do very well against Flunder. You flip it up, your opponent can no longer tribute summon, basically. So it's very nice. The only way that this becomes a problem is if they already have access to the Unexplored Winds, but there's not a whole lot that you can do about that anyway. Then we're playing triple Soul Drain. Hey, this card happens to do very well, not only against Tear, but also against Flunder. So yeah, there you go. That's basically it. Soul Drain just turning off the grave and the banish pile is so very nice and very worthwhile. We don't really have that many outs to Sprite, but I didn't really see all that many. I would highly suggest playing Sprite. Sprite is just in a really good spot. But the thing is, I don't really see myself being able to fit in an additional set of cards that would deal with Sprite. I guess Summon Limit and Skill Drain and Goes In should be decent enough, right? If you're going first, Eradicator could do well. Going second, Evenly Matched kind of does something along with Pank. So it's something. It does stuff. But Pank is kind of the out to Sprite and can't really do much more in terms of putting in an additional card to deal with that. For the extra deck, the only things that really matter are Entis, a big monster like Zeus. I was originally playing the first Dark Lord because it has 4,000 attack, basically something with really big attack points. And then Baguska and Ferajit. Ferajit is able to, you can discard it in order to, or send it off of punishment in order to cycle a card. Zeus is Zeus, and then, you know, ways to get into Zeus. Baguska is Baguska, being able to deal with, you know, an entire opponent's board. This is harder to make now because we're not playing Ariane, so there's that. And then Entis is obviously Entis. I would play more if I could, so there's that. Anyway, that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the duels and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going second, which is abnormal. Normally we want to go first, but we ended up not drawing any of our floodgates. Notably, this was when I was originally playing Ice Dragon's Prison. I found out this card is just really bad against Tier. If they end up milling a Shuffler, it doesn't do anything. If they end up, if they're playing like Flu, again, it doesn't really do anything. If they're playing Stun, it doesn't really do anything. If they're playing Sprite, it kind of does stuff. But at that point, like, it's not great. You have other options as well. It's not like our floodgates are exclusive to, or like exclusively not hurting Sprite. So I ended up cutting it. Anyway, but my opponent is on, of course, Flunder. So yeah, they're going to go Pot of Extravagance and then activate their Dimensional Shifter and then go for Pot of Duality and reveal that they are on Flunder. Yeah, at this point, I mean, we have plays, we have things that we can do. Hopefully we can, you know, play the game. But they're going to basically go off full combo and do the line that I would suggest most players do, which is ending on, oh, just kidding, I lied to you. Most of the time I would suggest ending on the double M-Pen. M-Pen is just very, very powerful, and being able to end on both of them is very nice. However, you don't need to end on both of them if you can end on specifically Unexplored Winds, Dreaming Town, and Map. If you're able to get all three of those, then you're goated. Anyway, we're going to grab up this tree here, or they're going to grab this tree, they're going to then Tribute Summon in order to grab up the second M-Pen activation. So they didn't actually search out the M-Pen, they just cycled the same one. So yeah, then they're going to set a card, set a second one, and then activate the Unexplored Winds. This is the biggest problem card. However, we do have Pot of Extravagance, as well as 5 set. So hopefully they don't hit the right ones, and hey, look at that, Solemn Judgment and Lord of the Heavenly Prisons is the 2 best ones. I'm going to set a whole bunch of cards. Most notably, the Welcome as well as the Eradicator are very, very nice here. Being able to go Eradicator, call spells, and deal with the 2 problematic spells is very nice. They're going to go for the Unexplored, for the Dreaming Town here and activate their Eaglin, and then chaining the Toucan here. And then this just allows them to continue to play. Obviously, I was trying to go to the end phase. Of course, they end up Tribute Summoning over the Ice Dragons, which is very, very nice. I kind of needed them to hit that one in particular. So out comes the Apex Avian, and now we have to deal with that. They're going to go and banish 6 in order to reveal off the top. Whole bunch of cards. Terraforming. They grab up the M-Pen here, which is totally fine. But I realized, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So we're going to go for the target of the Apex Avian. Then we are going to go for the Labrynth, or Welcome Labrynth, in order to grab up the Lovely Lady, which they will then activate their Book of Moon. Sorry, not Lovely Lady, Lovely Labrynth. They will go for Book of Moon, which is very funny, to target the lab, to the which I will just go Eradicator Epidemic Virus and deal with their entire field. And then I'm going to chain the Heavenly Dragon, or the Heavenly Prison. We get to reveal their hands and hit a whole bunch of cards. Know that they have Apex and the M-Pen, as well as I believe it's Toucan and Robina? No, Robina is banished. No, it's Tree that's banished. Yeah, so it's basically all of the birds. They have access to all of the birds, which doesn't really matter. But yeah, we're going to set the Extrav off of our Lord, and then go for, they're going to normal summon the Robina, to the which I will promptly Solemn, because now they don't have access to an additional normal. So hopefully we can do something here. We don't really have much access, especially with that draw, to much else, but hopefully we can draw something good here. Ice Dragons really sucks, but at the very least, now they have a monster in the graveyard, so potentially we could banish something, but banishing it isn't all that great. And so, yeah, we have Calm Pulse, and we have Ice Dragons, and they draw DD Crow. Cool. We know that they still have the Toucan. Out comes the Toucan. They're going to activate the effect, and they're going to grab up another monster, and then they're going to grab up an additional 2 monsters, that being the Eaglin as well as the Street. Now, I could have not attacked at the Eaglin, but I did need to put pressure on them, because the longer that this goes, the worse it actually gets for me. So, yeah, there's that. They're going to banish their unexplored winds for reasons. I don't know why we wouldn't have banished the Robina there, but sure. I guess then they can cycle it, sure. But I feel like getting Robina into rotation would have been much better. Anyway, they're going to grab up the Quick Play spell and then normal summon the Toucan and realize that they can't actually do anything off of that. So they're going to grab up the Robina and then just go to battle, to the which I will then activate Ice Dragon's Prison and also Welcome Lab, which just entirely screws them because I think we have lethal there on the following turn. I think because we have the second Lord, we are able to then special summon the Lord, and we have well over lethal on the board right there. So, whoopsie. Yeah, had they normal summoned, I think Eaglin, they hadn't used that, so they could have gone for the Eaglin there. But yeah, I don't know what that plan was. Good game. All right, so here we are once again going second, and again, it's better going first, but we drew pink, so there's our option there. My opponent is playing Tear. Fantastic. Let's see how this does. So they're going to mill a whole bunch of cards. They're going to be playing really bad cards like Mask Change and Shaddoll Beast, and sure, no, that's fine. They're going to go for Kit here. They're going to mill a whole bunch of cards. Also Super Poly. There's a reason we cut Super Poly. Anyway, they're going to go for the Kelbeck and then go and grab up the Gravekeeper's Trap. Wow, we're just playing really bad cards. It's fine. Out comes the Rhino Heart. They're going to activate the Havness here, and then they are going to fusion summon into the Kaleido Heart in attack position because, why not? Out comes the Redoer, and they are going to then pitch their Aurelia in order to grab up the Agito. They're going to then shuffle back a few of their cards and proceed to the end phase. So, we don't really have anything that we need to worry about. They do have shufflers, but again, I don't really care too much. We didn't mill anything too bad. We have the Pank in hand, which is able to deal with quite a few things. And then we have Pot of Extrav as well. They're going to call Labrynth the Labrynth, and I end up drawing evenly matched. So, fantastic. They also reveal that they steal our Welcome, which is kind of sad. Anyway, I'm going to draw 2 cards here, and they're going to grab Kelbeck and also mill some cards. So, yep, milling. They're going to hit a whole bunch of cards, and they're just choosing to activate all of them here, which ends up killing them because they saw that I was playing evenly matched. I don't know what they're doing here. They're like, I can fuse into something that negates, I promise. And then they make Dragostapelia and Muddragon, and then they're just like, oh, I can grab Crime here. And then it's like, oh, wait, but Crime is not going to save me for the evenly match that is coming down right now. And so, just tag out. They do tag out, they get their whole field banished, they keep the Kaleido Heart, and then out comes the Rhino Heart. They're going to activate the effect of the Rhino Heart, and they're going to mill the Merly effect will activate, and then we'll shuffle back 2 cards in order to grab up the Kit Kalos, and then Kit Kalos will then send a card. They search out the Havness here. They're going to go to main phase 2. We're going to activate our Duality, which will then allow us to go and grab up the Dimensional Fissure, which we ended up revealing. And then we're going to go and activate the Dimensional Fissure and set 4 and pass. We don't go for the Pank here, but that's honestly okay because Duality was much better there, grabbing the Dimensional Fissure. We're going to just flip up the Gozen as well as Soul Drain, turning off their entire graveyard, as well as forcing them into only Darks, which also kind of turns off some things. And then they reveal Summonment. Now, notably, Redoer can activate here. It just places a face-up card the opponent controls onto the top of the deck. Now, luckily, we both had the Skill Drain, the Soul Drain and the Dimensional Fissure, which means that even if they were to deal with one, we'd still have the other, so at least we have that. They're going to go to the battle phase, to which I will activate my Welcome Labrynth. They will redirect, and then we will bounce at the monster, which will then trigger my Welcome. And also, because I know that they have the Havness in hand, we also are going to chain block with the Welcome Labrynth to set itself back. They're going to shuffle back up my monster, stack it to the top of the deck, but that's fine, because we're going to pop the Redoer, forcing them to, or at least not allowing them to have the Zeus. Now, granted, they're still under the Gozen match, but it's more of just like, hey, Redoer is going to be a problem if it's consistently stealing my traps, so I'm going to deal with that. I can take the Kit. Obviously, it's not going to do anything. They're going to go for the Sheeran, pitch Kelbeck, and set a card, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. This is Crime. We know that it's Crime. I don't really care because Pank. So yeah, the turn begins, and we're just going to special summon Pank at this point. We knew that we were going to draw the Lovely, so there's that. We're going to walk into the Kit and then activate the Pank effect to deal with the Crime. They're going to activate the Crime to negate it because it's funny. And then we're going to, in the battle phase, still activate our our Welcome Labrynth in order to walk into the Sheeran. Now, this is actually a bad idea. I should not have done this, because if we allow them to then evenly match me, I just lose the game, right? So that's a bit silly on my part, but alas, we now get to set our trap once again, and at that point they concede, realizing that the game is over. Cool floodgates. Alright, so here we are actually going first, and look at that, we drew evenly matched. What the... That's not supposed to be there. But we drew a very weird hand. It is technically a way to get Labrynth cards onto the field, but it's one interaction and a floodgate. Now, granted, everyone and their mother is using this field when they are playing Tear, so of course I knew that my opponent was playing Tear, because why would they not be using this field? I swear, this field is awful to look at. Please don't play it. It's just bad. It just hurts my eyes. So please stop playing it. Thank you. Anyway, of course, this Tear player is going to start with Scream, activate the Sheeran, and then not mill any cards because of Dimensional Fissure. Then they are going to go for Abyss Dweller. Now, notably, what you could do instead is go for Redoer, which then has the ability to dodge sorts of interactions, and then you can potentially keep your monster. But instead they go for Abyss Dweller, because obviously preventing cards from activating in the graveyard is absolutely what we need here. Anyway, I'm going to Compulse it, which does put the monsters into the grave, and then we just special summon our monster and my opponent concedes. Look, sometimes Tear players aren't the greatest. I just found this to be very funny. Alright, this duel is absolutely 100% why I cannot wait for the new Labrynth cards to be released. Look, we have two floodgates in our hand and an evenly matched. This game, doesn't matter what we're playing against, isn't going to be all that entertaining. It's just that simple. Skill Drain, Summon Limit, Welcome Labrynth, evenly matched, fun. So we are going second here, but alas, it doesn't really matter. Now, if you're wondering what I was talking about with the previously mentioned new Labrynth support, if you don't know, go look up the OCG, go look up Labrynth, and go look up Labrynth builds from the OCG, and I'm going to tell you, they're fire. They're super cool. What do? They sit on 1 to 2 traps, and what they do is they utilize all of the furniture, Coup Clock, Chandelier, Stovey Torby, and they just constantly cycle. I would highly suggest going and checking it out. It's super fun, it's super interesting, and it's a new way to play the game. They do still play Skill Drain, because Skill Drain is absolutely busted, and of course they have a great way to abuse that, but it's more of like utilizing your monster effects as like pseudo hand traps to then utilize your trap effects to then interact with your opponent, and yada yada. It's very cool, it's very fun, I thoroughly enjoy it. Floodgates are not. I draw Dimension Shifter, which is just so funny. And then I tried to proceed to the battle phase. My opponent is then going to go and search out the T Crow, and then summon the Eaglin, and then activate the Eaglin, and then just grab up the Apex Avian, and then go for the Apex Avian, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is fine. Anyway, we're going to grab up, they're going to grab up the Eaglin and the Stree here, and then they are going to, we're just going to go to the battle phase and force out the Apex Avian. Apex Avian is going to negate, cool. Anyway, now we set 5 and pass. Not really a whole lot more that we can do there, but yeah, we have this. We have the Skill Drain, we have the Welcome Labrynth, we have the Summon Limit, as well as the second Welcome Labrynth. During the main phase, I'm just going to immediately go for the Ariana here in order to grab up the Labrynth, and the reason for that is for the Welcome Labrynth on the follow-up, so that we could potentially pop their field spell. At this point, I'm just kind of hoping that they go into like a normal summon of a monster that isn't going to deal with my traps. Right? Hoping that if they tribute, they're not going to tribute both. Well, I'm hoping that they're not going to tribute Skill Drain, and I could go Skill Drain, and it's not Apex Avian that comes down, and I'm like, dead. So, anyway, they're going to go for Pot of Duality and reveal off the top, evenly matched and stuff like that. They grab up the Advent of Adventure, which will then grab up the M-Pen. Look, if you are in a situation where you have access to map, and you don't go for map, you are the reason why you lost this game. Or any game. Go for map. Map is crazy. Map is absolutely absurd. Map gives you 2 normal summons in a deck full of normal summons that you need normal summons. Go for map. Why are we not mapping? Anyway, they decide to go for M-Pen and then tribute off my monster for M-Pen. Don't do this. Don't do this. Chat, don't do this. You, in the comments, don't do this. Don't tribute off the monster. Go for the back row. The monster isn't doing anything. You can walk over the monster. Easy. What you can't do is deal with skill drain now. Skill drain just doesn't do anything. Or just entirely shuts you down, right? You can't play the game. And now you need to draw a map, because if you draw a map, you can actually play the game. You can get another monster onto your side of the field. However, it's not going to be a tribute summon, so you still have to deal with skill drain. Like, that's just a bad play. Horrible, no good, very bad. Sure, I'm on 1600. Is that going to matter? Let's find out. Chat? Comment section? I don't know. Whoever is there. We reveal the duality. We're going to go reveal a whole bunch of cards. Hey, Soul Drain. Guess what? Soul Drain shuts off the Flunder cards because it's also monsters in the banish pile. So we're going to activate the lovely Labrynth and then set the Soul Drain. During the draw phase, before they actually have any chance to normal summon, I'm immediately going to go and activate my Welcome Labrynth in order to pop their Unexplored Winds, special summoning out the lovely Labrynth, turning off basically their entire field. And then I'm also going to Soul Drain so that they can't get back any of their monsters. Fun! At this point, they have to see Harpy's Feather Duster. Or, I guess, evenly, you crash things and then you go for evenly, and then maybe you... Anyway, at this point, the game is just over. I'm just going to quickly skip through this, slowly but surely, and I'll get back to you when the 24 turns are over. Alright, so here we are, on the penultimate turn of the duel. Now the ultimate turn of the duel. And, yeah, we still have this Compulse, we still have, we just drew into Oriana, and they also flipped up a Floodgate, so fun. Anyway, we're going to Compulse back our monster, and because we have the Field Spell, we can then activate the Field Spell in order to special summon the monster that we just bounced, and now we can go into Lethal. That was so fun. Wouldn't you guys agree? Alright, so... yeah, it can beat Tier, it can beat other such decks that are currently playable and seeing a lot of play, but do you want to? That's the real question. Because, I mean, I'm sure that there's a way that you could play it with more normal traps and stuff like that, where you're not relying on floodgates, but I don't know how well that's going to compete. And more specifically, I don't know how well that's actually going to do. Right? I don't know if it'll be fun. I mean, the floodgates weren't the most fun. I mean, you saw that last game, right? You saw that. You saw what happened. It was really great. Anyway, all in all, I love the way that Labrynth specifically plays, specifically with the normal traps, and more specifically in the TCG, where we have access to Big Welcome, and we have access to Lovely Lady, or not Lovely Lady, Lady. Not lovely. So, with those two cards that will inevitably come, I do expect Labrynth to be more interesting. As of right now, it's just Floodgates, which, hey, any deck can do that, as you saw in War Rocks. But, yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like us very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.